You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks. FWP's so good I listen weekly. Welcome to Final Wrestling Place.
I'm Tim.
Oh, I'm still Marcus.
Welcome to Final Wrestling Place number 300.
Hey,
we did it. We finally did it. And thank you for joining us however you join us, whether that's on your podcatcher of choice or on our YouTube. Now, for the YouTube watching audience, I want to tell you, this is a one-time thing for the YouTube.
One-shot deal?
OSD. This is the Rob Van Dam one-shot deal special, where you get this for free because it's 300. It's WrestleMania 41. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of things to go through, and since it is a anniversary, it's a momentous occasion, a monumental episode for us. We wanted to put it live to video, but this may not be the last video version of the podcast. So before we jump into odds and ends, some housekeeping, some WrestleMania talk. Marcus, how the H are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. As everybody knows, my favorite part of the show, banter. Let me banter and say that my daughter absolutely smoked some other kids in Easter egg hunts this weekend.
Heck yeah.
She's got a great strategy of she'll pick the couple
punching
up
kids
right
in the face.
Her,
oh,
and then she'll make a sprint far out as she can because she's faster than other kids. So, bam, couple here, take off. Pretty good strategy. Yeah, man. I don't feel like egg hunts were as common as they are now for us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It felt like an egg hunt was a thing your family had to make happen for you. It wasn't like, oh, this church is doing one and this farm is doing one and this company is doing one. Like, they got Easter eggs, like places to shoot fireworks off. Like, it's crazy. You got 8-10 options any given weekend for like 3 weeks before, during, or after Easter.
Right. Well, I think part of that deals with the fact that they're, at least when we were growing up in the church, that bunnies aren't Jesus Christ. Okay.
True.
And Jesus didn't lay eggs. You know what I'm saying? So why are we worried about that when we should be worried about the Holy Spirit or whatever, like church stuff. But now that we're kind of out of the habit, like Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act, out of the hole,
out of a cult.
Yes. More on that later. We've got now we get to experience life as men in our mid to late 30s, 40 so and pushing.
Maybe the Easter Bunny isn't a proxy for Satan.
No, maybe he's not. Maybe neither is Dungeons and Dragons, neither is Pokemon, neither is a lot of other stuff. You know who is a proxy for Satan?
You?
Satan.
No. Satan.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Come on now. Just because I have the goatee with no mustache and I'm trying to channel my big evil red devil does not mean I am Satan. Okay?
Do you think Satan or Beelzebub do you think he's bald or do you think he has like luscious locks? What do you think?
Luscious.
Okay.
My man, because he's enticing, right? He's supposed to be alluring.
You shouldn't call him your man, though.
Who did I say, my man? Oh God, we're off the rails. Okay, look, the views and opinions of Final Wrestling Place do not match mine or Marcus's, no matter what we say. YouTube terms of service, Minecraft server, whatever.
Entertainment purposes
only. But we do have a lot to cover. We've got voicemails from before WrestleMania, during WrestleMania, after WrestleMania. We're giving you the viewer's choice on WrestleMania. We're going to lay out where we go from here after everything that's taken place. What's the possible next steps? But first, an announcement. So, not only is the YouTube a big thing for episode 300, but we have been talking about Up to Something season for weeks now. And it is about time to let the cat out of the bag. And a few of you know already, because we had a pilot audience for some of it. And a big shout out, and I appreciate the boys from the network, Joe, DeWicki, DJ, Brett, Vansky, for not letting the cat out of the bag. No matter how many times you guys dialed the hotline, nobody got the information. But we are happy to officially announce the opening of our Patreon. Patreon.com/Final Wrestling Place is live as of today, right now. Episode 300 is the logical next step for us as a podcast moving forward. And what does that mean for you all? Well, first of all, we appreciate every listener. If we had one listener, if we had 1 million listeners, we appreciate all the number in between. But we want to do more. But with Marcus in the midst of growing a family, myself probably starting a family within the next year or so, time equals money. And there's resources we want to put into this, and it's not necessarily a money thing, but it is a making the time worth it. And one thing for sure, just as everything else, Final Wrestling Place is and always will be free. The audio podcast will be available on all our podcast platforms, on YouTube, everywhere. Same bat time, same bat channel. None of that changes. What does change is the aspects of the Patreon. So, as we scroll through, we make it very easy. There are 2 tiers of membership. There's the Good Place. For $3 a month, you get this Final Wrestling Place in the flesh. The live to tape video version of the podcast. So you get to watch Marcus and I try to pop each other on a regular basis. You get more visuals. It is a different viewing, or a different experience watching it live for video as opposed to just the audio portion. This is going to open things up when we try to watch as we go over things that happened in the week that was. We want to make the video experience worth it, and not just 2 talking heads saying the same thing, right? We want it to be worthwhile, and hopefully we do. Also in the Good Place, you get Marcus's Opportunities Corner. It is text based. Whenever Marcus is feeling real good, when he's on a heater, you will get some odds based on whether it's FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever, right? We'll help you out. And it's going to be a little bit easier as football season goes along. You're going to love the letters NRFI. That's going to be your best friend from the months of April to October. You're going to learn to love those letters because Marcus loves those letters. But for all of that, for just $3, it's just a little sponsorship. It's a little bit giving you the opportunity to support us and just get Final Wrestling Place, but you get the video version. But there's the logical next step, and that's $5 a month. For that, you get everything that's in the Good Place, plus at least 3 extra bonus shows a month. And the first is Deep Impact. And now, Marcus, what's Deep Impact?
Deep Impact is our foray into TNA wrestling. We're gonna start off with the first episode of TNA Impact, and we're gonna work our way through the TNA Impact era, starting off with first episode from 2004, and we're gonna wind things up with the Hogan Bischoff regime in 2010. And we're going to experience everything in between. We do have a little bit of overlap with the weekly pay-per-view era. So we'll give you a brief recap of what is happening on the weekly pay-per-views, as well as all of the happenings on TNA Impact on that episode. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. And that is a watch along. Mr. Tim has jerry-rigged the technology to make that happen. So yes, those episodes are available. It's the internet. You can go out and you can find them anywhere. But the only place that you will find our two beautiful faces talking and watching along with TNA Wrestling Impact will be on our Patreon with Deep Impact.
Yes. And episode 1 is available right now at launch. So if you're watching this and you subscribe, you don't have to wait for the first of the month to get the first piece of content. The first piece of content is already there. Episode 1 of Deep Impact from the June 4th, 2004 episode of Impact is on the Patreon right now. This bonus show will air twice a month. The next episode will be May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have stuff for the Patreon. It is our goal to make your Patreon dollars matter, and you get content from us on the regular for that. And we hope you guys enjoy Deep Impact. Next up is Fake Sports.
Hey.
A loving tribute to Joe, where, wrestling is real and all the other sports are fake. But this is where the old TNM show or TNM Sports was. But now it's behind the Patreon. Once a month, we're going to break down the sports world of what we were excited about, what we're going to be excited about. We'll have a revolving door of guests on. I've already talked to a few other people. We've got about 3 or 4 talking heads that are going to be willing and happy to join us for that in all forays of sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, even some hockey, some golf. We can definitely flip it around, but it's only for once a month. Very easy, digestible, watchable stuff with us. So if you're a sports head and you want to hear us do that side, included with Deep Impact and Final Wrestling Place, the video version, you also get Fake Sports. Now, on the call sheet or on the Patreon, it says a periodic rotating third show.
Third man?
We've got so many ideas in our head, we cannot necessarily... Deep Impact is a fully germinated idea. We've had it sitting, watering it, feeding it, making it grow. Fake Sports, same idea. But this rotating third show, it could be a draft show. It could be Marcus talking about a different life, so to speak. It could be me talking about past forays I've had in other dalliances that are interesting, that I've been told, interesting enough to listen to. They may be solo efforts between
could be how we skipped a cult.
It could be how we skipped a cult. It may be just me. Me and somebody else. It may be Marcus and somebody else, or both of us together. But you're always going to get one of us for this third rotating show. And we're so to say we're beyond excited to have this opportunity to do this. And like, again, it's not about the numbers. But it's something we've wanted to do for a while. We've wanted to try other forms of content, and we hope that you guys are willing to join us for the ride.
And I will also tag in here real quick,
Go ahead.
and just address, anytime you've got dollars and cents involved, I want to be as transparent as possible. We did a lot of research. We looked around. We got a lot of input from people that we value. We hypothetically threw it out there to our listeners to try to land at the best price point to do this. Neither one of us are looking to get rich off of this effort. We are both blessed to have dependable full-time jobs and also side hustles for supplemental income. So we're not really looking for supplemental income with this. What we're looking to do, especially with the $3 and $5 price point, Tim will never say this, so I will say it on his behalf. Tim does 99% of the work and always has for this podcast. From everything you see, from the website to the graphics, the social media, putting the show together itself, getting it uploaded on YouTube, messing around with Podbean, getting it on Spotify, whatever. Tim handles all of it. And Tim is also the main man. He puts all the bills are in his name. I'm just hood rich. Tim is the one actually putting everything in his name. So when you sign up, if you sign up for either the good place or the logical next step, that money is going to help offset the cost of making all this happen. Tim has been primarily the one to have all this come out of his own pocket and to make all this magic happen. He will never say it, so I will say it on his behalf. Thank you. So again, we're not looking to get rich off of this. We're not looking, any kind of get rich quick scheme or any delusions of grandeur of exploding or anything like that. Like, we're looking to put back into the show what you give. So by you signing up for $3 or $5 a month, it's going right back into the show. Whether it's updating sound equipment, whether it's the site hosting fees, anything like that, stuff that I don't even know about that Tim does because he's the brains of the operation. That is where your money will be going. So I just want to get that out there and let everybody know, why we are charging $3 or $5. We want to make it worth it. But this is stuff that we would be doing for free anyways. We're just looking for a way to help offset this cost of doing all this for Mr. Tim because he's been the one making it happen. So that's where your money is going.
And I'll even go so far as to say, like, if there's if forever, for whatever reason, there's a surplus, right? That's going back into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to be stuff that we like hold on to, and like we may build like a nest egg or whatever, but eventually that's going to turn into something. Whether that's being able to commission a piece of art that we can put on a shirt to sell to sell to you guys for Patreon, or if it's something else, right? Like there's many different possibilities we could do with it, but at the end of the day, it's merely just a way for you all, if you're so inclined. Like, it feels like I'm giving the tithing message. This is exactly what it feels like.
Minus the bullying.
Minus the bullying. Like, we're not asking for your 10%. Like, if you feel so inclined to give, cool. If you just want to listen to Final Wrestling Place every week and share it and participate in the Discord, the soon to be named network Discord, like, that is perfectly fine. Absolutely no sweat. This is just if you want to go extra, and that's cool. And we appreciate it, and we will love it every step of the way. So I feel like that's the big piece of admin to get out of the way. And I didn't know how to really do it in a classy way or anything like that. So as this last final push, patreon.com/final wrestling place, $3 and $5 tier. Everything is laid out. I may be editing some text because, as you can tell, the T&M branding is gone, but it still exists on the Patreon. I didn't catch it in all the places, but
Small
so
change.
small changes. The price point will not change. So you don't have to worry about tariffs or anything on the Patreon. We've got that covered. So I know, but we appreciate it. No flexible payments. It's all here and it's all complete. So, and whether you subscribe or you don't subscribe, thanks for being on the ride and making 300 possible. And here's to 300 more, and then after that we're done. 600, we're done. It's over. Right. It's not over, but it could be. Who knows? We don't know what the wind blows. I mean, that's another 6 years. So, I could be a multi-billionaire by then, or dead. No, probably not. I'm not going to say that. But what we are going to talk about is we have a lot of voicemails to get through, and we appreciate everybody calling. 757 354 3070 is the voicemail line. It's always open. You can leave as many voicemails as you want, ask as many questions as you want about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be wrestling. We're happy to answer. And we have a first-time caller for the show. Take it away.
Hey guys, it's Big Jim, long-time caller, first-time listener. Just want to say congrats to 300. I'm recording this prior to WrestleMania, but since you're going to hear this after, we're basking in the glory of John Cena's 17th title win and Marcus's favorite main event, Jey Uso, your new world champion. But as you guys hit 300, what is your favorite moment or moments as a podcasting duo that you can reflect on this momentous occasion? Again, congrats, boys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Big Jim. You got that wrong. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Leave that shtick to Kenny. Kenny's got that in spades. But if you're going to do it, you got to say "get wrecked bots" at the end. Good Jim Rome bit. I love Kenny for that. But yeah, man, what some of your favorite podcast memories of us? I'm gonna immediately go back to episode 1. But when we were living together and we were in the studio bedroom, I guess, and we're literally just like chilling face to face with mics, recording in our apartment, talking wrestling, covering WrestleMania 34 was our first podcast back when it was strictly red points and green points.
Wow.
Yeah. Affectionately, where we got to tell the world about WrestleMania Dino Bravo.
That's true. Yeah.
Which we're on the road back to Dino Bravo 3 now. As we're coming up on WrestleMania 42 in like 360 days. But what's some of the podcast memories you've got?
Our love and affection for anabolic steroids.
Logical next step.
That definitely sticks out. Also got to say, I think anytime that we've also made the hot tag to have somebody in as a guest host or co-host for the episode, those episodes have always stuck out. The Wiki's done an amazing job. Dooge talking about Terry Funk. That was a great episode. I know we had Joe on to talk about EC Dub.
Yeah, Big Ass Extreme Bash.
Yeah, that was really cool. The latest time we just had guests on with We Need Wrestling with DJ and Brett doing the draft episode. That's probably the tippy top for me. And then it wasn't Final Wrestling Place, but it was us talking about Joe Burrow getting the MVP award, or at least getting your vote hypothetically. That was over on Sports Talk. Yeah, that was a good time. So it was also a good time having Big Jim over for WrestleMania.
Yes, night
along
one
with you. So shout out Big Jim. Great dude to watch wrestling with. Great dude in general. So yeah, if you're already not, go ahead and give 3CT a listen and follow. Big Jim heads that up and does a great job along with you.
Yeah, I'm a participant. I'm a crazy boy over there. I have to be the host, or not the host, but at least like the C captain, the ghetto C captain, navigating you through the streets. That's right. So, but also can't forget Ed, having Ed on to do our time capsule crushes. That was a great episode.
Probably our best. That's probably our best episode.
Probably our best.
Yeah.
But of course we're not done. Like we definitely want to have more people on.
Talking to you, Miss Tatum.
We're talking to you, Miss Tatum. We're talking to you, Adam. We're talking to anybody really. And like we're not. If you have to, you got a grievance, we have a podcast. You want to talk about it? Like, come talk. But Jim, thank you so much for your friendship, your brotherhood, your brothership, and just being a solid ass dude, as Stone Cold was.
All around jam up guy.
All around jam up guy. That's right. Next up, speaking of jam up guys.
Hey guys, it's DeWicki. Congratulations on 300 episodes. Super proud of you guys. Thanks for having me along for the ride, as you know, using my music and all of that. I just want to let you know I love you guys. And thinking back on all of the episodes of Final Wrestling Place, the thing that always comes to mind when I think about you guys is SummerSlammed out. Love you. Bye.
Oh yes, Jeremy Piven and Dr. Ken talking about the SummerSlam. That is definitely one of our favorite moments of recent memory in wrestling. So, DeWicki, beyond valuable, a pearl of great price, as some would say. Another jam up dude, a good brother. Way too good to us for no good reason.
Yeah, way too good of a person for me to be able to associate with. Like,
right?
I have no business.
That's not even a race thing. That's like
no, it's just he's way too good of a dude. So
yeah,
I greatly value your friendship, brother.
And he's literally, we make sure he is the first voice you hear on our podcast. And I know we joke around a lot on the network of where does the soon to be named network sounder go? But we make it a point to make DeWicki the first voice you hear on the podcast, because he is our third man. He's the third man of like almost every show on the network. And that is just our small way of attributing to him. And literally we throw crazy ideas at him and he comes back with gold like this, just for no reason.
Wings!
Just putting together a stupid Balls Mahoney sounder and Ric Flair saying wings. You know, DeWicki's the best always. But don't be leaving voicemails like you're doing Jim Ross sad serious voice. That is I thought for sure there was something going on. We upped something for real. I'm completely kidding though. DeWicki, thank you, love you. Mwah.
Yes.
Next up, another jam up guy. It's Kenny.
Hey Marcus, hey Tim, it's Kenny. Hope you guys are having a hell of a WrestleMania weekend. So doing my Easterly Sunday duties brought my moms to Roman Catholic Mass. And would you believe brother worked in a tight 10 minutes about WrestleMania 3. Swear I won't even say it, but it happened. So being two young up and coming God-fearing folk, what would you guys have done if you were 9 years old, sitting down in Sunday Mass, and brother worked in a tight 10 about Sting at the Norfolk Scope or something? I don't know. Hope night 2 is any good. Get wrecked, boss.
I'd go get baptized again.
Definitely.
If the pastor started talking about Sting doing the Stinger splash for God, and I'm taking a scorpion death plop in the baptismal, doing that. Do you recall ever having like a wrestling related conversation at church that was in the midst of like a lesson or a sermon?
So it's a little bit after we were best friends. I remember it was starting to get cold outside. So this is probably like November 98, around that
Okay.
time. And we had I guess like a choir practice. And I remember specifically it was on a Saturday because it was weird seeing people not in their church clothes. But at Sweet Haven, we had like this choir thing for the kids group. And some other kids threw up the wolf pack. And homegirl stopped everything to say that like this was the devil symbol and to like stop doing the devil symbol. And somebody tried to wise her up, smarten her up to like, nah, this is the wolf pack, day in, day out, wolf pack for life. And she wasn't trying to hear it. This was the devil symbol. And then fast forward another day to Sunday, somebody threw up the wolf pack symbol. And I was in there, and I also threw up the wolf pack symbol because I wasn't going to leave a brother hanging.
Can't do that.
And she stopped the song that she was singing, or like like she finished the song, and in between she wanted to freestyle talking about like this devil symbol. Ooh. And I had to speak up and let her know afterwards when we're in the candy line to take a piece of candy home, to let her know that this is a wrestling thing. This is for the NWO Wolfpack, and let her know about the wolf ears and tomato face Sting, the best Sting, and Black Jeans Luger, and Super Knee Brace Macho Man, and K Dog, and Big Sexy Kevin Nash. So, and she had a problem with him being called Big Sexy. I remember that too. Like that was another thing.
Of course.
Like, I don't know.
Very
People look
sex
at him like-
negative, independent fundamental Baptist church.
Yeah. He's about
Who'd
to
have
beat Goldberg
thought?
for the belt.
Who
So,
thought, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the last 2 years of my adolescent education. I went to my church's school. I was lame, and I was afraid that I was going to be caught up in a life of underage drinking and recreational marijuana use as a youth. So I left to go be the big fish in a small pond at the church school, which, if you've ever been a public school kid and then go to a private school, you're like God. Like, the kids think you're the best because you're like, you're worldly. And really what it is you know how to talk to adults, because the other kids at the school don't know how to talk to adults.
Mhm.
And what's great is that the adults don't expect a kid to be able to talk to them like an adult. So one of my favorite teachers was like Miss Hallam, and she was like, I would talk to her like a person. And she was like, you are so refreshing. And I'm like, thank you. Can I have an A now? And she's like, yes. And that's how I became the valedictorian of my high school. But I'd say all that story to tell you the basketball coach for my school was a low-key wrestling fan. He could not say it, but he was always very positive with me because he knew I was a fan. So he never talked down to me about it. And like, he would hit me with like a little bit of here and there. And I knew he wasn't going to blow up my spot. And I wasn't going to blow up his, he wasn't going to blow up mine. It was just a nose tap at a point or whatever. But Coach Jones, the GOAT, he was the man. I love it. I love, like, especially as I know Joe's talked about it and Brett's doing it now with his younglings, but like being an adult, being positive about wrestling to the youth, like cultivate that, man. Because if not, wrestling's going to die on the vine later. And there's going to be young kids who believe in, Santa Claus or John Cena or Cody Rhodes or whoever, right? But we need to tell them to avoid bad Terry at all cost, believe Mr. Hitman, and enjoy some wrestling. So, but Kenny, thank you. Glad you did your good duty with your mom going to mass. Appreciate that. Next up, we were threatened by this in the Discord, but it's a 2-part question.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, Tim. Kenny. Hope you...
Wait, why is Kenny's voicemail on here twice? Twice! We will get back to that other call first. I got to pull it up. But let's pivot really quick. We have 2 voicemails from Jess Bones.
Hey Tim, hey Marcus, it's Jess. Quick question: why does Lyra Valkyria look more like a bird than without the wings than she does with them on? All right, bye.
Excellent question, Marcus.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's so accurate. Oh, it's so accurate. Oh, I don't know why. I don't know.
I couldn't
see how long she had them janks on at WrestleMania.
She hugged Becky Lynch with the wings on.
It's the funniest thing.
She hugged her with the
San Diego
wings.
Chicken. That's what I was thinking. That's all I could think about was the San Diego Chicken. Like Becky makes this entrance, 5 minutes walking down the ramp. Oh, the van's come back around. Yada yada yada. And at the bottom of the ramp, there she is with the feathers.
Big hug. Like, lose the wings, kid. Act like you've been here before.
Oh man,
what is this?
Oh,
like you're
man.
trying to spin a sign outside a Cluckenbell? Like, what are you doing?
Oh man,
stop it. Get some help. But
that's
Jess,
a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. We appreciate that. Next up, but Jess calls back with a second.
Hello, Tim and Marcus. It's Jess again. Hopefully I get this one in under the wire. Okay, so, well, refer to my latest comments on We Need Wrestling in regards to WWE acquiring AAA. And, yeah, the Fed is creatively cooked. I mean, it always has been for the longest time, but it's there now. But, yeah, we'll deal with it. All right, see ya.
It's one of the sneaky things from the week that was in wrestling, right? With WWE. WWE they went full court press in the media. But as if like full court press defense was everybody was playing Matador defense. And they weren't actually trapping and stopping the ball. They were just like doing every negative thing possible in the media.
Like they're trying to give up the 2 to avoid the 3.
Correct. But they announced WrestleMania Saturday, the acquisition of AAA, which, depending on what you see or hear, that they're trying to rebrand as NXT Mexico. which we knew was going to happen because I remember Triple H's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia board of, oh, we got NXT, and then we're going to build NXT Japan, we're going to build NXT England, we're going to build NXT Chile, and NXT Greenland, and
it's Triple H's Hawaii family tree. It's his bloodline.
Yes, it is his bloodline.
It's the NXT. This land is NXT. We are NXT global plan. Yeah,
it's the Book of Genesis version of Triple H, where so and so begat so and so, who begat so and so. And it's convoluted and crazy. But hey, if it's any consolation, Triple H's plan with England was or the United Kingdom was excellent. The UK wrestling scene is wait, it's dead,
which may not be a bad thing, but
hey, no, don't say that. We need allies.
Hey, Revolutionary War, baby, never forget. All right, you take your tea and you get out of here. Okay.
He doesn't mean that. Don't listen to him.
The Queen.
He's a silly boy doing a silly bit.
And those dudes with the big hats.
The Royal Guard.
Keep all that over there. Okay. We'll keep the British Bulldog. He's all right.
He's Canadian property if he's anything else.
Keep the England stuff over there. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it.
Stop it.
Stay over there. Can't let them back in.
Okay.
Yeah, man. What do you think about the AAA acquisition?
Looking at it from WWE's point of view, awesome. Like, that is, to them, this is probably a win. Like, they're, especially if they can proliferate some of the talent from there. There's no denying Vikingo as being a guy. And WWE couldn't wait to put him in a WrestleMania ring. He shows up during the Rey Fenix match with El Grande Americano. And they've already booked a Worlds Collide with, surprisingly, people see Worlds Collide with AAA, but they don't look at the logo, that it's the WWE logo and the AAA logo to one side and the NXT logo to the other. So the AAA guys aren't even going to face WWE guys. They're going to face NXT guys, which is perfect because that's exactly how WWE views AAA, as underneath the WWF or the WWE.
I'm now very curious in how a bunch of like D3 and D2 athletes are going to base and sell for Lucha. I'm actually very interested in this. Right. I won't watch. I will not watch, but somebody's tearing an ACL. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, for sure. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Somebody's vertebrae is getting compressed.
Oh, without
it's gonna be interesting.
A ruptured disc which fragmented into my spinal column is, I think, the phrase you're talking about. But in the real terms of wrestling, partnership, good. Acquisition, less than good. Yeah, bad.
Red points, if you will.
It is red points. It's big red point energy, the acquisition. And of course, now that the acquisition of AAA has been announced, then there's a lot of theory crafters, tinfoil hat wearers, whatever, that are now going back and looking at a post that auspiciously missing from WrestleMania Dwayne Johnson had about a week ago with a Rubik's Cube and the Lion's Mark shirt from New Japan. And I've already heard theories that AAA isn't the only promotion that's getting purchased. And people are thinking it's New Japan, which I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't foresee that being a thing, but of course, You don't know. When we know, everybody else will know. We're not insiders. I'm not even trying to start speculation. It is me just like hearing the tinfoil hat wearers and hearing the people who talk. People think sometimes I say things just to say them. There's other people who do worse and say things that are completely like baseless, or you are grasping at straws. But of course, if it comes to fruition, whatever, I think WWE's in the market for a Japanese wrestling brand. It's probably not New Japan, and it's probably Noah because they've worked with Noah. But
I just don't
again,
think that Noah feeds the beast.
but
That's
it's
not what they're
also,
looking for.
but then you could also ask yourself the question: does AAA feed the beast?
I think for expansion into Mexico
Maybe,
or
yeah,
takeover, yeah.
true.
I think this addresses, aside from all the bad of acquisitions and stuff like that, I think it is another point of WWE realizing or acknowledging that the Performance Center has not done its job, where we're talking about churning out superstars and people who can be ready to go for mid-card, upper mid-card, main event potential. It's been fine. It's been very good for filling out the other half of the roster. Your WrestleMania, Andre the Giant, Memorial Battle Royal types, some people maybe in tag teams, your people who are going to be involved in the celebrity angles, getting beat up by a celebrity. It's been fine for that kind of thing. It's been fine for filling out U.S. title tournaments, things like that. Maybe even filling out 2 or 3 segments on SmackDown for a match, fine. But looking at this WrestleMania, almost all the good had to do with guys who are in their mid to late 30s, in their 40s, some people's case 50, and the star power, the presence, all that the Performance Center cannot give you. There is no training for any of that. That takes reps, that takes knowledge, that takes knowing yourself, takes experience, takes worldwide experience. And I think to bring it home, gobbling up AAA does that. It's okay. Performance Center isn't churning out stars like we need. Let's just buy a promotion and take their stars and see if we can get people above that line of delineation on the roster. Now there's a whole other bunch of really bad stuff with AAA. There's some personal stuff with Stephanie Vakir, and some protection that the company did of somebody who was trying to harm her real bad. There's the whole thing about AAA being real Lucha Libre or authentic Lucha Libre, which I'm pretty sure isn't the case. I'm not a historian when it comes to Lucha Libre, but I'm pretty sure that is WWE retelling of history. There's a lot of more knowledgeable sources out there on Twitter that know way more about it than either of us do, but we're here talking about it. So that's what I got for the AAA purchase. Bad.
Right. And I think I'm wistfully hopeful. But if it is anything like the progress, everything with the UK scene, it's not good. It's not going to end up good. They're saying all the right things at first,
Sure.
but as we've seen with other things, a lot of people say the right things before things take action, and then they do an opposite thing, And then they say, well, you said you do this. And it's like, well, plans change, pal. And that's how it goes. So we shall see. Jury is out right now. The court of public opinion is voting guilty with banishment forever. Triple Paul is... he's cooking, but what's he cooking, baby? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But we'll talk about what he's cooking a little bit later as we get through the voicemails. Hopefully, we have Ed's voicemail on the line. Ed?
Hello, Tim. Hello, Marcus. It's Ed. I got a question about WrestleMania. And it's not anything to do with this WrestleMania. We're going to save that for next week because I want to see if a thing happens. Because then I'm going to have a question for you and Ed odds both. It's the same question. But I want to talk to you guys about WrestleMania X7. You know, some people think the greatest WrestleMania of all time. A little inside baseball. I'm calling on 420. It's been a great day. And my brain's in a good place. They got me thinking about Paul Heyman, WrestleMania X7, and of course, young Tommy Dreamer. So, I think we all know the story. Bang. Hit my pose. Bang. I got a two-part question for you guys. One, so Tommy Dreamer does that, right? Do they stop the show? Do you think Vince stops the show? Because, like, the precedent's already been set. If somebody's dead, they're just going to keep going, right? I don't know what you guys think. I think he's a deeply evil person that would definitely keep it going, but I am not. I'm pretty biased. So I want to know what you guys think. And two, if he stops the show, does that give Steve Austin enough time to think about the heel turn, not do it, and possibly save the popularity of professional wrestling? Could Tommy Dreamer have saved the popularity of the WWF that night? Let me know what you guys think. Okay, bye.
Ed, amazing call. I love your Easter logic. More cookies and milk for Snoop Dogg next year. So you can get some more. So the two-part question. One, does the show go on if Tommy Dreamer hit my pose bang? I think because in this situation there is an active gunman, I think WrestleMania is cut. Even in Texas, I think WrestleMania is cut.
Of course, we're in Texas. Everybody owns a gun.
Right.
Congeniality. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if anything, we're gonna get like a beware of dog situation where we get WrestleMania X7 Part 2 on like Tuesday in like a smaller venue because the power goes out. I think we eventually get there, but I don't think WrestleMania X7 continues from there, especially if there is a literal crime scene that takes place. Now, some would say there was a crime scene that took place before. Twas an accident of negligence. But this is different. Like, I would think that there's common sense that if somebody brought Sweet Brucey brought a gun allegedly, but that was in the locker room. Go ahead, Marcus.
All right. Great question, Ed. So this is actually interesting. This is a time period in U.S. history that is after Columbine, but pre 9/11.
It's weird.
It's weird. So I do think if there was a shot, bang, hit my pose, bang. I think, if anything, they put the show on pause briefly and continue, at what point was he gonna bang?
Right.
Depends what part of the show. Is it enough time to still get Rock and Austin out there?
Like, where is it? When is he doing it? Exactly. Like,
because listen, unfortunately, Owen Hart's passing did not prevent them not just from having the show go on, but doing a WWF title change. Like,
right.
they switched the belt. I didn't stop them. So
Right.
2 years later, active gunman, I don't think that stops them either. I think post 9/11, I feel like they're forced to stop the show.
Right.
But pre 9/11, but being post Columbine, I think how quickly can we get the affected parties out? How quickly can we get the show started back up? I think that's what happens.
So another thing too, though, is the fans in attendance during the Owen show, the Owen incident. I don't think a lot of them knew for sure that Owen had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
There is an air of, oh, he might be better. But if a dude's got a gun and he goes Kablooski, pose Kablooski, there's no kayfabe in that. Like, there's no.
Okay, well, question. We're still in the Attitude Era.
Right.
Even though a lot of the craziness has been done with for a while.
Pillman 9mm.
How many of those fans think it's a work?
I don't know how you're going to work
like
blood splatter.
You're going to have a big section up front that sees it, affected by it.
And runs.
Got it. But you're talking about 65,000 other people that are away from it and see there's a commotion. Figure you're at a wrestling show. Everything's a work. I think a lot of people think, why did they randomly do some kind of angle? Why did something happen? I thought we were done with that stuff. Wrestling fans are stupid.
Yes, we are. Now that I think about it, I think the show goes on because in this situation, the active shooter is handled by the second bang, if you know what I mean.
Post pose.
There's the post pose. The second bang handles the active shooter instant. So there is no threat of anyone else being shot.
I have another question.
Allegedly. Oh, you have a third question of the two part. We haven't even gotten to the Austin part yet. Go ahead.
Okay. What t-shirt do you think Tommy Dreamer's wearing? Is he wearing the pay-per-view shirt like he usually did in WWF?
Oh, gosh.
Is he wearing like an ECW shirt? Is he wearing white?
Is he wearing white?
What shirt is Tommy Dreamer wearing? That's what I want to know. Soon to be named Network Discord. Final Wrestling Plays channel. What t-shirt?
I think it's the ECW logo shirt.
Is it the ECF&W shirt?
Probably.
Like barbed wire ECW shirt?
I think it's the ECF&W shirt.
Okay.
Or it's the Taz hand-drawn Innovator of Violence shirt. Okay. Either way, I don't think he's wearing white, but he probably should have for the color. If he loved the business, he'd wear white.
Time-honored tradition.
Time-honored tradition, unlike any other. But the question about, does Austin have time to think about not doing the heel turn? You're kind of positive about the heel turn, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
I'm not. Explain yourself there, because look, a lot of people think I'm the Jingle and Keys boy. You have a set of keys. And this is your keys right here. Like,
Okay,
explain
well,
this away.
This heel turn gives us Steve Austin in a cowboy hat with Kurt Angle singing "Kumbaya." It
Only
gives
because
us
Triple H's leg got completely torn off the bone. I mean,
it gives us colored knee braces, Steve Austin.
yeah.
It gives us what? Stone Cold. Gives us a lot of good.
We get Alliance Stone Cold from this.
Yeah. Yeah, you get like the ATV theme. Yeah, there's a lot of good that comes from the heel turn. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was bad that the only baby faces left were like Undertaker and Kane, but Kane was still cool at the time. I think it sucks that they didn't beat him or nothing, and then it's like, oh, well, it's Jericho and Benoit. It's like, all right, but then like they get hurt, or Benoit does, and then like you're trying to get all these WCW people in.
Right.
I just don't think the heel turn's that bad. I didn't think it was bad. I mean, yeah, he should have kicked Wham Stunnered Vince at WrestleMania, and Austin stand tall as over everybody. That 1,000%, because Stone Cold is always walking tall. That's what he should have done. Explain it away the next night.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was dope. I think it's great storytelling, even though they never really explicitly spoon-fed the story being told. That like the first WrestleMania match, Austin's here and Rock is here. By the time he gets to the second WrestleMania match, Rock is here, right where Austin was, and Austin is here, and they're passing each other. And by the time you get to the third match, Rock is here and Austin's here.
And it's the best of the three matches. Yes, I appreciate. Nobody remembers Act 1 or Act 2. Everybody remembers Act 3. Hollywood Rock theme, vest spot, my spot, liver spot, Lakers in 5. But Ed, thank you for the call as always. Appreciate you. Last up on the voicemails, it's the homie, the lifestyle.
What up, my dogs? This is Brett. I am currently leaving my nephew's house. We were watching, don't mind that, that's just my gas telling me that I need to get gas. WrestleMania, night 1, absolute stinker, minus the main event. WrestleMania night 2, absolutely kicked ass, minus the main event. Pretty wild the transparent differences between the two. Excited to hear what you guys' favorite was. If it's not Io Sky, then you guys are on crack and Crocodile and Kratom. Shout out Sabu. But yeah, WrestleMania. I don't know what I overall want to give it. Obviously, night 2 was like way better than night 1, minus main event. So excited to hear you guys break it down. And yeah, should be a good time. Let's talk more about Io Sky and how awesome Io Sky is. Io Sky forever. Bye.
Lifestyle coming through. He gets right into the point of what we're here to really do. So to answer his voicemail, Brett, congratulations, you're the main event of the show. It's time for the viewer's choice of WrestleMania 41, night 1 and night 2, live from Allegiant Stadium in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Marcus,
Arrowhead West.
that's right. So many things. I don't think we need to go over the card. I think everybody who's watching this or listening to this has an idea on what the card is. But if it is your first time experiencing the viewer's choice, what Marcus and I do, We give you red points and green points of the show of what's must watch or what's must skip. And we give you an MVP of the night, just as a way of like, if you didn't watch WrestleMania, but you decided to watch Final Wrestling Place, we will set your course correct as to what we think is the most watchable stuff from both nights to minimize your viewing impact. So Marcus, from night one, is there anything that's red points, green points that you want to start with?
Red points to your guy. I'm talking about the Yeetmeister himself, Jey Uso. Poor Walter. He tried to keep that on the rails. I feel like there's going to be a good British Bulldog, Bret Hart, SummerSlam 92-esque story that will eventually come out about this match. I don't know what this was. This was one of the weirdest, technically not horrible matches I've ever seen. Again, Walter, Gunther did everything he could to try to hit all the checkpoints. And that's what this match felt like. It just felt like, you're like playing a game. And you're like, I got to get to the next checkpoint so I can save. And like, if I die, I can always come back to this point. That's what this match felt like. Just get to the next checkpoint. And if we get lost, go from where we last were. Go to the next thing. It kind of seemed like a theme for both nights of WrestleMania. I guess I'll get into it now. I often criticize WWE when they very publicly came out and said, oh, we can script the buzzer beaters. You can script the buzzer beaters, but the reason why buzzer beaters are awesome is usually because they're followed by 40 plus minutes of game time of excellent basketball. And the same is true about pro wrestling. The moment does not mean as much without the great match and great storytelling that makes the moment matter. And I felt like this whole entire WrestleMania was about painting or coloring by numbers with no thought, no emotion, and skip to the end to cash in on all of that emotion, which you did nothing to build up. I thought this match kind of set the tone for the weekend in that regards. I feel like Walter was just getting started with his title run, and they pulled it off of him because, well, it's April, and this is what we do every April. Sorry, got to lose to the Rumble winner. They can always fix it, yada yada, whatever. I was just really getting into what Gunther was doing, and it felt like the wrong time to take it off him. I know that kills Jey Uso, and you can never use him again as a main eventer. I think that's okay. I would have had Gunther up here. I think it would make things more interesting, especially with what else seems to be happening on Monday Night Raw on the heel side of things. This stunk. What a weird match.
I agree. I don't agree that Gunther needed to go up. As I give a red point, I'm going to give an overarching green point that's going to cover across both night 1 and night 2. I would say more than any other WrestleMania, I think for the future of what the WWE is trying to do, I think the correct person won every match. I don't think there's any. I think it's very hard to at least putting yourself in the position of Triple Paul and the brain trust, if that's what you call them, with WWE. I think they made the right call with every match they put on at WrestleMania. How they got to that end, that's where we have like differences of opinion, right? Or we wrong path, right outcome, right? You kind of, it's like doing math homework. You look in the back of the book and you get the answer, but you didn't show your work. So you got the answer right, but there's no proof of concept. You just had the answer.
They
And
scripted the buzzer beaters, you might say.
You'd think, right? This match was odd. Jay seemed off. I don't want to speculate what he was off from. I know that if you were a member of the $1,000 Patreon tier that didn't exist at the time, and you were able to watch WrestleMania in our house, in your face, like, you would have gotten a conversation about this. So I will bring up the one possible outcome that is non-problematic. I think Jay adrenaline dumped. Like he knew the gravity of everything, running hot, mixing energy drinks and like he's mixing it, and he did adrenaline dumps. He gets in there and he's like, okay, cool. What am I doing? And he doesn't remember and he looks sluggish because Jay after the match is normal. Like at the press conference, besides saying yeet, hell yeah, fire, internet, Jay is back to his normal tricks. It's not until after the match that like he kind of.
How many hours went by?
At least a good 2-3. That's enough.
4?
Loco?
No, you could feel a lot better in 4 hours. I don't know. I don't know anything about that though.
That's a dosage of medicine. Maybe he drank some ginger ale. Maybe his electrolytes were down. Could have been
probably
anything.
Running, like you said, running a little
hot.
too hard.
Running hard.
Too hot. Too heavy on those
staying up
energy
late,
drinks.
Staying up late here in Triple H talk for 65 minutes at the Hall of Fame. Trying to Weekend and Bernie's his way through it by sitting there with sunglasses on indoors. Like a true,
talk about adrenaline dumping after an entrance. Sounds like a skill issue. Not my world champ.
I don't know, man. Didn't Seth talk about how he almost passed out at WrestleMania 35?
It wasn't in the all white. Skill issue.
We'll talk about that a little later. But I agree with you. This is red points. Like, yes, Jay should have walked out as champion just so you don't like cut the legs out from under him, especially as you mentioned with the heel side of things. You need a babyface on top. You need a Jey Uso on top. And especially with how things shake up later in the night, Gunther is champion with other pieces that change. Tough to say. But we'll get to that bridge when we come across it. So next sort of points, I'm going to give a green point to what I think might be the start of WrestleMania. And that's LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. It is really tough to say that like the first 4 matches of WrestleMania didn't feel like WrestleMania. And I'm being generous in saying that this match felt like WrestleMania. But I think it's the first match on the card that had intensity.
Mhm.
It's the first match that the crowd was really invested in on both people. And not because one person's doing a catchy hand gesture and coming through the crowd. The fans have chosen Jacob Fatu. The fans chose LA Knight by this time last year. So it is a showcase of 2 of the more organic rises in WWE in recent memory. Of course, right calls made. Jacob Fatu, new United States champion. Think that's awesome. Can't wait to see what the werewolf does. Loved that Solo was not present at ringside, that Jacob did it solo dolo. Also, big ups to Haku. We got bonus Haku, and who's going to stop Meng from doing whatever he wants to do? Rob Gronkowski wishes he had the aura, the presence of Meng to just bypass security and go do something else.
Yeah, man. This is the first one that felt like it belonged on a WrestleMania. Again, not a main event match, not even a featured match, but this is the first one that felt like, okay, we got 2 dudes here. And especially in Jacob Fatu, we got a guy. Really cool to see upward trajectory in WWE. Granted, again, both of these guys were chosen both by the fans in the office. But Jacob is special. And it's really cool to see on the other side, LA Knight go from being one of the names left off the show at 39 to having a name match at 40 with AJ Styles to coming into 41 as US champion with the purpose of making another guy, putting the stamp on another guy. And if the trajectory continues for Jacob, it's possible this time next year Jacob is leaving WrestleMania with a world title.
If they speed run it, absolutely. It's a conversation we had in like private text messages before, but it's like Money in the Bank this year is going to be a tough nut to crack, right? With Jacob Fatu being right in the mix, plus a couple of other names that we saw from night 2 that we'll talk about. It's really hard to not count like any sort of chickens before they hatch with the Money in the Bank side on the men. But Jacob Fatu, we have been high on Jacob Fatu since his debut. He felt like pardon the pun, he felt like a game changer. Even when he first debuts with the WWE, he feels like a person who has literally been there the entire time.
Yeah.
There was no awkwardness.
No acclimation period. He was just in.
Right. And like, we'll talk about him on like night 2, but like Penta's another one. Penta took right to it. Ray Fenix, I feel like there's some, again, he's been here for what, 2 weeks, but Jacob is definitely a fish in water here. And he's not just a little guppy. He's definitely a predator. He's definitely someone who's going to be a person to watch. moving forward. You guys already know that. We're not saying anything. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not doing rocket surgery here. Makes perfect sense. But I'm giving green points to this match. I think it's worth going back and watching. If I'm honest, this is probably the only match from night one that I'll probably rewatch. But again, I can't say enough good things about Jacob Fatu or LA Knight, to be completely honest. So, next up for you in regards to like red points and green points.
I'm just going red points with the whole Chad Gable thing. The storyline, the antics. I don't know what the end game is. I mean, the end game is him getting unmasked, right? And we have a generation now of fans that have never seen this type of angle before. But this is like the worst way I've seen this angle done. And for that, it gives me red points. Like, it's just done so poorly. And Chad Gable went out there and he busted out like creative moves. He busted out unlockable moves in a video game. He busted out old like internet or like early YouTube or like even like tape trading days, like those type of moves. Like, he was a sicko. Dude rocks.
My man gave himself CTE
Dude.
during that back like reverse 450.
Yeah.
Where he did like a 1.5 senton, but the wrong way, and boy, he smashed his melon real good on the mat.
When somebody online eventually makes a peak Gable comp in another like 12 years, that might be like his version of Kurt Angle running and jumping off the stage with like that perfect flip.
On Abyss.
Yes. Like, that move was insane. Phoenix, I think I like him more as a tag guy, but I like Penta more as a singles.
That's a little problematic because
but again, he's new there. Only been there a couple weeks. Big spot. He looked like he belonged. The crowd hasn't had a chance to connect with him yet. But this just comes down to like poor matchmaking. Like, if you can script the buzzer beaters, if all these injuries or whatever happen, like, you have a perfectly good trio with the American dudes, with Gable and the Creed brothers. Why don't you just book them against Penta, Phoenix, and Rey Mysterio? And you can get Rey Mysterio to sprinkle some Rey dust on Penta and Phoenix.
Or you literally just do the match you did on Friday Night SmackDown before WrestleMania of American Made versus Phoenix, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Run that. Keep Penta in the Intercontinental title match, but put Rey with the LW, put Phoenix with the LWO guys. And then if you don't have that match on SmackDown, you don't have Rey getting hurt. Maybe he gets hurt at Mania. Who knows, right? But at least Rey's getting to Mania. And you're doing a better match that can still get El Grande Americano over in the end. But it's not at the cost of beating your new, fresh, hot talent that is like you're making a huge deal about, right?
And it's great to get Chad Gable a singles match at WrestleMania. Those are highly coveted and hard to come by. But you're also not losing anything off the top with Gable in a tag, because the dude's just a tremendous worker. Mm-hmm. And he's an excellent tag worker, be it 6-man or traditional tag. Like, the dude's great. So you're
Right.
not losing anything by putting him in a multi-man match. Yeah, just red points for me, man. Poor booking, poor matchmaking, poor angle, poor execution. Great workers involved, but I don't know if even they can overcome all the stink that is surrounding this angle, in my opinion. But tremendous workers, though.
For sure. The next thing I want to talk about, I don't know if I want to give it red points or green points, so I think we could discuss it and get through it. But it's the semi-main event of night one. It's Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. This might be the beginning of WrestleMania because of Charlotte's star power and the trope of old bull, young calf, so to speak. With Tiffy and Charlotte being in different places in their careers, and Tiffy's obviously on the come up, and Charlotte is, I definitely don't want to say she's on the wind down, but she's definitely not height of powers anymore. But she's as good as she once was here. But I don't know where I feel in regards of giving it red points or green points. I volley to you, sir. Like, where do you sit on this?
I'm very mixed on this match. I'm a big fan of Charlotte, especially like 2016 to about 2019. I think she's one of the best women's workers that they've had in company history. Since then, it's been a little bit more hit or miss for me and Charlotte. But in this match, I thought that she dialed it back to that era. Not a lot of daylight in her strikes. A lot of stuff connected. If Tiffy was getting lost, Charlotte was doing something about it. Big boot, power bomb, slams, all the stuff I like from my Charlotte. She's at her best when she's bringing the contact. On the flip side, again, this comes back to like poor matchmaking, poor booking. Tiffany will be ready for this spot one day. She'll be back in this spot one day. Was Tiffany the person to go heads up against Charlotte coming off the ACL injury in a big spot at WrestleMania as a babyface when she has worked heel primarily, and she has only been working for a handful of years, and that is all performance center based and WWE house style experience? I don't think so. I don't think this was setting her up for success. I think having Charlotte come back and win the Royal Rumble and on the first night on the second night, try to pitch the redemption arc, that was not setting her up for success. Now Charlotte's good enough if she can pivot and slide right back into that role and accept that the WWE crowd does not want to cheer her. It's not go away heat, but they do not want to cheer her. So by de facto, they got to turn Tiffy babyface, and she's not ready for that, I don't think. I think this is where you see some of that experience missing that we talked about earlier with the AAA talk. You're just not getting the live crowd reps when you're coming up with the performance center. Tiffany never looked in the moment in this match. She looked very focused on what's next, not forgetting anything, being where she's supposed to be. Again, 60 plus thousand people, the world watching. You got to be in the moment. She didn't fall on her face. I'm not saying anything like that, but Charlotte being out there felt like the first time all night that there was a true WWE superstar out there.
Right.
A main event level superstar. And that's what Charlotte still brings to the table. And I wasn't sure if she still had that, and she does. So that is a question that's been answered. They still have that in Charlotte. Charlotte still has that draw power. She is still Charlotte Flair. It has been a low key theme, I think, of this WrestleMania. Who's going to step up? They've selected who they want to step up, but will the people they selected be able to?
Right.
That's a question. So, like green points for Charlotte, and I probably just wouldn't score Tiffy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
where do you put the match?
I'm inclined to give it green points because it was a little bit harder than I expected. It was not the gymnastics show that I expected.
Right.
Now,
It was gritty in
both of their
places.
strengths. Yeah. But yeah, like the screenshot you got, like it was gritty. There's the shot after the match where Tiffy is missing some teeth and has some teeth pushed in and chipped. Like,
yeah,
it got heavy. They were bringing the bombs. Love to see it. So for that, I'll give it green points.
I'm fine with that too. I found the match not offensive. I definitely thought that they went harder than I thought they were going to. Especially since I was all the way out on this match leading into the event. But I thought that they did as well as they could. I do think Tiffany was the person who should have won. However, it's tough now because now what do you do with Charlotte? She just lost clean as a sheet, middle of the ring to the prettiest moonsault ever. Now what? Right?
And you just told this story with Charlotte last year, or 2 years ago with Rhea.
Correct.
You just did this.
Right. So maybe they're just trying to pick up where they left off, and like, Charlotte had the knee jammy. So now they're just trying to like soft reset and continue what the story was supposed to be. But again, who knows, right? I don't know. And that's kind of like where we're at, like trying to figure out what is next. Where do we go from here? In this sort of regard. Before we go into the last thing I think we're both wanting to talk about, I do want to make mention, and it's a green point, and it's usually always a green point for WWE events. This looked like WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
The presentation, the set is I think it's an all-timer set. I love the announce tables. The production work was very good. And of course they present wrestling like none other, right? It is absolutely, when you think WWE, you think WrestleMania, you think spectacle. And that's exactly what this is. And what they gave. And I think the first real display of that spectacle and using all of your production elements together is the main event of night one, which is Seth, Roman, and CM Punk. I almost said Cody for whatever reason because I'm thinking last year's Mania. But the entrances for this match, I think from bell to bell, or from at the beginning of the match to the end of the match, I think this is as good a WrestleMania main event as you could ask for, on top of a card that, quite frankly, did not deliver. And I don't care what other Facebook groups say and giving Jey Uso and Gunther 4.5 stars for whatever the heck they did. And however Dave Meltzer will grade this, but undeniably this main event rocked. I thought it was really great. In one of our group chats, I said, "Welcome to WrestleMania." And it's not because I felt that it's acceptable for the 7th match of your first night of WrestleMania to be the first match that feels like WrestleMania, but we had all been searching for a WrestleMania match through it all. And we finally got it in this matchup. And the entrances were cool. Seth coming out with in the all black with the flamethrower, burning down the set. Lights go out, lights go out, lights go out. CrossFit Jesus 99 Seth Rollins shows up. The white and gold gear, that is Seth on a different plane of existence. That's Super Saiyan level Seth Rollins. That's White Power Ranger Seth Rollins. That's World Beater, World Ender Seth Rollins. And then we get Roman's entrance with thankfully no 47. I know Pat McAfee had joked about the Ulafala and possibly a WWE Hall of Famer presenting Roman Reigns with the Ulafala. Thankfully, Roman looking crispy all by himself. Say whatever you say about the man not in a wrestling ring. It was a recurring theme for me during the match. I'm just going, man, it's hard to not like Roman Reigns. But the walk down the ring, him being by himself, walking the path of the family, showing pictures of himself as well as other members of the Anawati family. You had Afa and Sika and Yoko and Kishi being displayed as he's making his way into the ring. The white and black Superman Jordans, the gauntlet that you see in the picture here with the white and the black. It's a great look for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns looks like he's one more lean cut meal away from being the lead star on 205 Live, going up against Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali. It's kind of crazy. And then of course CM Punk, the promo video giving us the melancholy version of This Fire Burns. The creative editing of My Only Addiction is Wrestling. No, it's not. It's competition, you liar. But hey, you told me to tell you when we're telling lies. And so, but all of that, and of course, a band that is batting 1,000 in live performances of their song, Living Color, crushing Cult of Personality, as always. It was fun. It was good to see the package of Punk and Heyman back together with the It's Clobbering Time and Punk flash or Heyman flashing the watch at Punk for the entrance. It took me back to 10 years ago, right? Back during the Paul Heyman guy stuff, or maybe a couple years, maybe a year or so prior.
Try 12.
Yeah, but still, it takes you back to that time period. And it's feel good, man. It was nostalgia, ate it up, right? And then the match happens, and you talk intensity. There's intensity throughout this entire match. Crazy to think what happens when you build a match pretty well. Every piece has its own, Seth and Punk's recent history within WWE is not lost on anyone. Roman and Seth's long-term history with WWE is not lost on anyone. And I think that using Paul Heyman as that friction piece between Roman and Punk was enough to link them together as being antagonistic towards each other. But even throughout the match, moments where Seth and Punk are like, yo, we got to get Roman. We got to get him out of here. And then Seth is like the Roman, yo, Punk's the guy. We got to get rid of him. And so you get the architecture part of Seth in that character that sometimes is questionable and sometimes isn't. But all in all, even with the finish, I give it green points. I think it's a really, really good main event. I wouldn't say it's really great. It did make my match of the year list that I'm putting together. It's definitely worth a mention, at least for WWE offering for this. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts over 24 hours removed from the triple threat.
Yeah, I like this a ton. I'll eventually give it a rewatch after that. I don't know how many rewatches I'll give it. As opposed to another triple threat that we'll talk about pretty soon. But this match, take everything I said about all the new people coming up through the performance center and the clear gaps in their training and in their come up, and it's the opposite here. Rollins and Punk have worked the independents for a long time, worked a zillion WWE house shows, and have both been on TV doing it for a long time. Reigns, born into the business, the bloodline, also worked a zillion house shows, been doing it for a super long time. To me, he's still the current guy. Nothing touches a Roman Reigns match in WWE. He's still the top dude. This match was dope. I liked it a lot. It was everything I expected, including the Heyman double turn.
Right.
We kind of talked about it in the car when we were together. WWE is less about what will they do and more about what choice will they make. And it's usually two choices. It's a will they, won't they.
Mm-hmm.
Your options are limited. And the will they, won't they for this match was will Heyman turn on both Punk and Roman and join up with Seth? And that's what we got. So,
right.
Moving forward, I'm interested in what this does for Rollins. I'm not going to say that he's been stagnant, but he's kind of been the same. Super high spot. He is a dude in the company. Super dependable. I don't always get it, but for that crowd, he is one of their guys. They buy him. They buy everything he does. I'm really interested in what is the next thing for him. And I know that we had kind of talked about how Heyman molds himself to whoever he's with. And when he was with Brock, he was the advocate. He was speaking on behalf of Brock, doing Brock's bidding, so Brock didn't have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
When he's with guys like even like Ryback and Curtis Axel, he's the veteran manager. He's Bobby Heenan. He's listen to me, go to the top. When he's with CM Punk, he's almost a buddy. He's, hey, we might do different things, but we're both in the trenches together. He's a source of familiarity, a fellow outcast with Punk. And when he's with Roman, he is the counsel. He is the level head for this bad A Samoan who would just as easily spear everybody and rule with complete and utter dominance.
Mm-hmm.
He is the counsel. He is almost the poor analogy, but he's almost the campaign manager for Roman.
He's his diplomat.
Yeah,
like
and
he's there to be the politician, so that
absolutely.
Roman does not have to like bother himself.
Yeah,
with
and
that.
so I'm curious, what is the next part for Heyman, but more so, how does that affect Rollins? Because in WWE, Rollins doesn't need anybody to cut a promo for him.
Right.
And he's also the architect, whatever that means, but he is the architect in WWE. So he doesn't need anybody to think for him. So what exactly is this partnership? How is it going to benefit either man? But it's clearly a step up for Rollins.
Right.
So what is that step up, and what is different about him taking that step up? And I thought you had a great analogy at the house when you said it's Jafar and Iago.
Correct. Like,
and if
Paul
that's
will
what's going to
just
be the great.
Yeah. Paul's just going to be the guy who, lack of a better phrase, parrots what Seth is doing. And Seth will be the man with the plan, using Paul as a pawn. For the first time, Paul is not the most useful part of the collection, right? Like, Paul definitely, when he was Brock's advocate, highly valuable. When he was with Punk during the 434-day reign, super valuable. When he's with Roman as the wise man, super valuable. He now is going to essentially be a role player of sorts, where he's not going to have to play, using a sports analogy, he's not going to have to play major minutes. Now, of course, we do have a Raw after Mania that will be happening that we obviously are not recording. This is immediately after night 2 of Mania. So who knows if there is a reason Paul is with Seth larger than just what we have right now. Who's to say?
Yeah.
That's why we watch, right? But in a vacuum, looking at night 1's main event, this is Green Points. And I definitely am excited to see Seth now as the heel with the babyface Jey Uso. And how many days are numbered for Seth or for Jey as champion, with both Gunther and Seth, who now, if you remember the build up to this match, Punk and Roman and Seth all said this is the number 1 contenders match.
Sounds
So,
of freedom. Yeah.
So wouldn't be episode 300 without him. So Seth now de facto number 1 contender, but for which belt, Jess? We don't know. Night 1, all said and done, who's your MVP?
My MVP at night 1, got to go to the big dog, Roman Reigns. He's still the guy. He's still the dude. There is a reason why WWE felt comfortable stacking night 2 and kind of going a little bare bones, or giving a lot of opportunity. Oh, there's that word again. On night one. And it's because that show is being anchored by Roman Reigns in the main event.
Right. My MVP is going to be Seth Rollins. Seth was very much the straw that stirred the drink in the triple threat. He's the guy who had the most chemistry with both of the other pieces, and it showed. And while he is the person who stood tall at the end of the night, that isn't necessarily why he's the MVP. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the discussion for night one and Mania in general, Seth winning is the right choice for this. Punk's victory is being in the main event, right? And Roman's victory, I don't know if there is one, because leading up to this, we were even thinking, like, is Roman even going to make the card?
Right.
Once he lost the undisputed WWE championship, it feels like Roman's out of the main event picture for good. And with Seth being Roman's kryptonite, in any match that's ever mattered between them, Roman cannot beat him. And it makes perfect sense that Seth is the one that pins Roman clean. I mean, as clean as you can in a triple threat match, but it is Roman's shoulders on the mat 4-3 under Seth Rollins with the assistance of Paul Heyman. So for that alone, as a person who's been kind of unbeatable, unstoppable, undeniable at WrestleMania, for Seth to get the victory over Roman is definitely it's worth its weight in reputation. That is everything from night one, and there's more to go. So let's go into night two. And Marcus, what is the first thing you want to mention from night two?
Quick aside.
Sure.
Before diving straight into night two.
Yes.
Have to say, talking WWE, especially this week, to clear up any misunderstanding or anybody, if this is your first time listening, wonderful, new fan, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you.
WWE had an all-time bad PR week.
We mentioned that a little bit in the beginning,
and
where
I don't think there was a single thing that came out where I said, yep, I agree with that, and I think that is good. A lot of bad. I speak for you as well. We know where we stand, and with any of those comments made. So, yes, we are trying to pull the positive and also talking the negative of WWE, WrestleMania. That's what we do. It is part of the wrestling that we watch. It is not entirely either one of our diets, but under no circumstances do I want it to be thought of or even put out there that we are ignoring, bypassing, agreeing with, putting our heads in the sand about anything that was said this weekend, whether it be from Roman Reigns, whether it be from John Cena. I don't even know who else said something stupid.
Triple H.
Yeah, nah, absolutely not. So all the red points for almost everything that was uttered into a microphone or a magazine article or interview or whatever else. Major red points. So now getting into night two. First thing I'll give green points to. We'll keep it going with the triple threats. Io, Bianca, Rhea. I said this was a match. You just need to get it in the ring. Stop with the sports entertainment. And how's Rhea going to get into the match? And you end up messing around, and the fans are booing Bianca. It's not like maybe WWE fans in 2025 have been predisposed to just naturally select the black woman as the heel here in the situation. Whatever the case may be, they got the match in the ring. And it exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were this is probably going to be the best match of WrestleMania weekend, and it delivered and exceeded for me. I loved this. Talking about the moments, this was one of the best moments. This was the best moment for me of the weekend because the match was so good to give us the moment, to give us the finish. Awesome to see Io up. I love the call. I thought last year, pessimistically, she had peaked going into WrestleMania as champion and losing to Bayley. There was a big part of my brain that I told, okay, that's the last we're going to see as Io as a main eventer or a featured player in WWE. So to fast forward a year and to see her coming in as champion once again, I thought, well, it's nice that it happened twice, but this title's going on Bianca Rhea, and that's what it is. And to see Io get the win was awesome, and it wasn't fluky, it wasn't lucky. She hit her move, and she won the match. Right. And it was dope. Up strong over two of the strongest women that are non-horse women. And you could even include them now at this point. Bianca and Rhea doesn't get any bigger to defeat than those two. So huge win for Io. Love to see it, and I love the match.
Ditto. I don't have anything else really to add. These women killed it. Finally, maybe Io can get some more respect on her name. We're a big Io Sky household. Shout out to Brett, but it's not to take anything away from Bianca or Rhea. Like, everybody here played their part to perfection. It's what happens when you get three pros out there that know what they're doing. Kind of like the main event of night one. You've got bona fide stars within WWE who show their intensity, show a match where things matter, right? And especially throughout the duration of night one, there were matches, but it didn't feel like there was really consequence. Just felt like it was a match to have a match. Those easily could have been Raw or SmackDown matches at a certain degree. This second or third match, depending on like mileage may vary, that was a WrestleMania match. This is what WrestleManias are made of. Matches like this, where you put the best of the best, the Titans, against one another to see who stands tall. And I'm excited to see where it goes with Io as champion heading into Raw and then the backlash coming up, right? So again, big green points for this, big plus. Next up for me is a green point as well, and I'm going to jump a little ahead, not too far ahead, but I am going to go with the Intercontinental Championship 4-way with Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and of course, the winner of the match, Dirty Dom Mysterio. Multi-person matches historically are tough, right? They're fun and exciting, but they feel formulaic. And if you've seen one, you've seen a lot of them in a certain degree. I think Punk Roman Seth did enough to variation to make it fresh. Bianca Rhea Io, enough variation. And this 4-way, there's enough variation for me that like it's fresh. It feels good. A match where everybody comes off better than they were before, which I think is great. Braun Breaker's a star. Just as much as we said that Jacob Fatu this time next year could be walking out as a world champion, You could say the exact same thing for Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Braun Breaker is going to be Money in the Bank or the Royal Rumble winner. That's where my head's at, unless WWE is stuck in their ways and they want to make it like Sheamus or whatever, right? Like, however you want to do it, whichever main event mainstay, you're going to do another All Stars Money in the Bank where everybody's a former champion and they're trying to get their belt back. Like, no, make it where nobody's ever been champion and make it hungry. Penta looked great here. Great colorway for Penta. Very toyetic. Love to see it. Finn's Finn. He's consistent. Especially since his second run in NXT, when he drops, when he becomes this newer version of Finn Balor, it's more along the lines of like the Prince he was before. Finn has been on a heater, right? Everything he does is really great. And then there's Dom, who has been consistently since joining the Judgment Day. Every little bit, the stock rises and rises and rises, and you can now add Dominic Mysterio's name to the list of guys like Fandango, who have a epiphany moment at Mania where the fans absolutely love him and becomes a made-ish guy, right? Him winning the Intercontinental title, even if he's holding it for a day, I think it's really good for Dom. Especially with the story they were telling about how Finn was like, he doesn't have the killer instinct. He's not a champion. He's not a winner. And it's Finn who's the one that takes the fall. The only red point I'd give this is they literally pulled this finish the way that Dom Mysterio wins the Intercontinental title is the exact same way that Io Sky retained the title in match 1.
Yep.
But it's guys and girls. It's different. It's fresh enough. It's cool enough. Yay. Right. The right decision happened. I can overlook a little bit. Right. But big green points.
Yeah, big green points. I agree with you. I don't have anything additional to add. I agree with everything you said. So I'm gonna go with some red points. But where I'm going with my red points, you get to take a lap. And with all the goings on in the world of wrestling entertainment, I don't think you got to publicly put out on this podcast the evil that you put out into the world early this morning with the next match I'm about to talk about.
Joe Hendry fill in the gap going against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I really thought about it yesterday because I'm going through my head, right? And it's a little bit of like following the dirt sheets. And again, like however you read the dirt sheets or whatever, you take it with a grain of salt, but like there's going to be many call-ups and debuts and re-debuts in the coming weeks of WWE television, right? And of course, as soon as Kevin Owens tragically goes down as not being a person who can participate at WrestleMania, the space opens up. So of course, every name gets run through. Oh, it's Nick Aldis. Oh, Rusev's back. It's going to be Rusev and Lana. Oh, Aleister Black's on the way back. It could be Aleister Black. You just move him up a little bit. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you're going to bring back Rusev just to feed him to Randy Orton? You're going to bring back Aleister Black just to feed him to Randy Orton? Who can you bring in that will pop the Mania crowd, will give you a WrestleMania moment, and when he loses to Randy Orton, no one's hurt? And Joe Hendry was the first name I thought of. He was at the Rumble. His gimmick is the whole say his name and he appears. Nobody said his name, but like I did. So apparently he heard me and he showed up. Contrary to your belief, Joe Hendry is still not wildly popular, not as popular as before, but still popular enough because look at the crowd. Like WrestleMania is full of like I guess for a lack of a better phrase, I'm not going to call them all sycophants, but like it is WWE's core audience. People who go to WrestleMania are the people who want to be at WrestleMania. The ticket price is not enough for the ticket price is too high for the casual fan. If you're going here, you're making a conscious decision. You're going to Mecca. You're going to WrestleMania. You are paying respects to the altar of World Wrestling Entertainment. So, to the WWE key jingling audience, Joe Hendry is what we want. And I think this is cool. This is the way to get Joe Hendry on the show without him being a WWE superstar. Now he never has to get signed by the WWE because he's already done like the best thing he's going to end up doing. It's good exposure for what some call the third best brand in all of wrestling, TNA Wrestling. Well,
Second.
It depends on if NXT is its own brand or not, Marcus.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you. You got to remember the power. We went over the power rankings of the DEF CON levels of WWE brands, and now we have to figure out where we're putting AAA. So now we get to just rip the whole sign off the wall and go again. I think the match was perfect. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be. It was glorified honky tonk man Ultimate Warrior. Nothing offensive. 5 stars. Done. What's your problem, Sourpuss? It's an audio and visual podcast. Let's just
it's not for me.
That's fine.
Nothing about Joe Hendry is for me. Not a single thing.
I mean, we knew that when you started with all the stuff you talked about the UK literally an hour and a half ago.
I'm not going to be crying for people quadrupling what I make in a year. Okay. Great for you. I don't like surprise culture, man. It's just not for me. I think it's lazy. And it's like the illusion of surprise at this point. It's like, oh, they brought in Joe Hendry. I wasn't expecting him. Well, like, it's not like he's like this forbidden fruit. Like, if they brought in, I don't know, whoever's working the indies right now who's popular, that could be something because it's like, oh, what's the affiliation with WWE? There is none. But
like
we've done Joe Hendry as a surprise already in the Royal Rumble. And like now it's a surprise again. Maybe it's just these keys jingling aren't catching my attention. Maybe I need a different set of keys. Like, this is like jingling plastic keys, and I'm up to the full-on metal keys. I need some louder clanking and jingling than this. This isn't for me. Randy Orton looked dope. I like Randy Orton a lot. I like the throwback trunks. That was cool. Tim, what do you got green points for, or red points next?
I mean, I'm just sitting here. I'm going back to the Joe Hendry thing. 1.9 million views on YouTube from Joe Hendry's appearance at the Royal Rumble. I don't know what that stacks up against with the rest of Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble YouTube videos. Already, the Randy Orton Joe Hendry highlights video on YouTube is at 225,000 views. The show was over 2 hours ago. Joe Hendry's entrance is at 165,000 views from 4 hours ago. Those numbers are just going to go up and up and up. To put it into perspective, Stone Cold Steve Austin reading a number off of a card is at 216,000 views. So while it's not for you, it's obviously for a lot of people, and it makes it the right call. And I'm done belaboring the point. Good on Joe Hendry. Loved seeing you there, baby. Make $1 million working for Inoki. Okay. I'm gonna give some red points too. And this Marcus is don't Tommy, put it down. We've got don't pose. We're gonna do some red points, and it's not about who's on the screen, but it's about who they replaced. Big red points to the women's tag team title match. Becky Lynch did the worst kept secret in wrestling by going and doing media saying, "Oh, I don't wrestle anymore," even though you're in Vegas for Mania. Why are you in Vegas if you're not at Mania? And I get it. You're married to Seth Rollins. You're a WWE superstar. Everyone goes home for Mania. But like to outwardly, like, I don't wrestle anymore, or I don't wrestle right now. Big red herring Jones. But the reason why there's big red points here is that why did you have to dangle Bayley in this situation? Make her a part of the tag team match, only to do a silly, frivolous injury angle on the pre-show of night one to get her off the show so you can pigeonhole Becky Lynch in.
Like, what about Bayley says it's okay to Nathan Jones her on the pre-show?
Right. You know, the person who won the WWE Women's title last year. The workhorse of the women's division. You know, while Becky's off, and this is going to come off wrong, but like Becky's gone being a mom. She's doing the mom thing. Totally respectable. Love it. While Charlotte's on the shelf, rehabbing a knee, what's Bayley doing? Oh, just being really, really good at her job. And how do we repay her? We injure her out so that we can shoehorn Becky Lynch in to team up with this person.
Hey Tim, hey Marcus, it's Jess. Quick question: why does Lyra Valkyria look more like a bird than without the wings than she does with them on? All right, bye.
That's what we did. The man. So this is the team of Birdman. This is Team Birdman. And I know you love that, and I'm ready to end the call right now because I put team in front of it. Shout out to Liv and Raquel. Awesome work. The match was good. I don't have anything really bad to say about the match. My problem is if Bayley wasn't going to be in the match, what's the harm in just saying Lyra Valkyria is going to find a partner to go after Liv and Raquel? Why dangle Bayley? Right? What's the point? Like, it stinks for Bayley. It stinks for us as fans. And if I can't wait to hear in 6 months a Hunter fumbled chant at an AEW show when 3 letters show up on the screen in all caps, Pam, and that's it. Salute. Double salute. Just red points all around for just the disrespect.
Double red points for surprise culture. I really hate surprise culture, man. It's really bugging me. I really hate it. I really hate it. It's so cheap and lazy. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. All right.
It's not surprise culture if you guess it right. Just be really good at guessing.
This is going to be super real quick. I'm going to give green points to McIntyre and Priest.
Oh, I have to show this. I had to show the picture. Go ahead. Keep talking.
I think any time that you can nail a WWE plunder brawl and actually do something that looks not WWE in it, you've done something. I thought they had great intensity. It was weird matchmaking. Drew should be in a main event. Priest should be in a match that's like 3rd from the main event, 2nd from the main event with the year that he's had. And he put both guys together and they ended up making the best of it. They went out there, they wrestled with chips on their shoulders. They did some cool stuff. They took some big bumps. They gave some big blows. Some meat was slapping. I liked it. Really fun match. And really like Drew McIntyre. He's dope. And I really like Damian Priest as a upper mid-card babyface. Like, we don't have enough of those. And the problem is, when you have them, you always sacrifice them to your heels. They've tried not to do that to Priest. Like, he escaped on top with the Judgment Day angle. I thought he was going to take an L there. He never got that win back from Walter. He loses to McIntyre here, but I feel like that's kind of it for his major losses. Other than that, he's been on the winning side of a lot of things, and I hope they keep it up with him. I think he fills a much needed void in wrestling, period. McIntyre's dope. McIntyre's dope.
Man.
She just continues to do the best work of his career, like every time he's out there.
Right. No question about it. I love that his gimmick is stealing a phone at WrestleMania and taking a picture or texting someone. And I'm cool with that. He's King Troll, King of the Trolls, and it's the best. Damian fits a spot, but Drew is the guy. Shout out to the face of Project Rock now.
That's right.
That's one of the cool pieces of media that came out during WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, I'm never gonna have anything bad to say really about Drew McIntyre at all. That kind of gets us to the main event. And it's red points. It's the right answer, but the wrong way to get to the answer, right? Cena gets 17. The story is definitely more interesting with Cena being the champion and the looming threat of him taking the WWE title with him into retirement. It's almost the inverse of a storyline we saw 12 years ago with another face that was going to take the WWE title away from the WWE. But we will see where this goes. I do want to give a little bit of the kayfabe answer, or the WWE answer to this. A buddy of mine was watching the post show from WWE, and Peter Rosenberg, don't necessarily like giving him credit for much things, but he mentioned that Cena had mentioned in the lead up to this that John Cena's goal is to ruin professional wrestling. What a better way to start than winning the WWE title like this? Like, if this match was stylistically bad because that's the story you're trying to tell, that's 4D chess, that's beyond me. Cool. I don't think that's what this is. I think it's revisionist history, and you can now say that because it was a bad match, that this match doesn't belong in the Louvre, that's a bit of a clunker. You can retrofit it to fit John Cena's narrative or whatever it is. But here's the biggest red point of it all. Where the F is the final boss? Don't tell me that Travis Scott, Cactus Jack, is the deciding factor of why Cody Rhodes lost the WWE title. You mean to tell me after everything we saw at WrestleMania 41 or at WrestleMania 40 with all the King's horses and all the King's men in Bloodline Rules, anything goes, and we get the Usos having a clash, and Solo Sikoa and John Cena having a clash, and then The Rock and The Undertaker having a clash, all of those pieces cancel out, and John Cena and Cody Rhodes is up, but Travis Scott is the deciding factor. Cactus Jack Meal custom Jordans is the deciding factor. I'm not buying this one. I need the final boss. John Cena didn't sell his soul to Travis Scott. He sold his soul to The Rock. So where's the people's champ? Where's the people's choice? Where's the final boss? Where's the head of the board? Where's he at, Marcus?
Where is he at? I got no idea. I know where he's not. It's WrestleMania.
I guess he'll only show up to manias that he wants to show up to, like New Orleans. So now we got to wait another 350 days so we can see The Rock eat some beignets and walk Bourbon Street with Travis Scott and Lil Wayne and I guess the ghost of John Cena, because he'll be retired by then.
I thought The Rock ate pie.
Ooh, but what kind of pie? Blueberry
never
pie?
Still available on Spotify. That is wild that song has not been erased from existence. Anyways,
shout out to Slick Rick.
Woo, Slick Rick's Bakery,
world famous Rock.
I can give this neither red points or green points because it was what I expected. Credit to Joe. He had this match nailed since forever. And I was on the other side. I said, Cena ain't been Cena since about 2017. I don't think you could or should throw Cena into the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, unless you've got Roman. I think Roman's the only guy who could pull it off. Or the Roman match is the only match that could pull it off. I mean, they got through it, but I'm not going to say they painted or colored by numbers, but I mean, you got your moment. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
The match did nothing for me. And again, any new viewers, any new listeners, great wrestling. That's hold for hold, clean spots. I don't care. I like a little bit of clunkiness. I like things getting ugly. I like a little bit of fisticuffs in my wrestling. So I don't care that everything wasn't smooth as silk. I prefer it that way. NBA playoffs are starting. Let me know if you see a game without a turnover. Not going to happen. Mistakes happen. Should be more common in pro wrestling. This just you did a once in a wrestling generation angle by turning Cena. Can only be done once every 20 years or so. You did it, and then since then it has just been the least interesting path possible at every turn. And that included this match. It was less about what will they do, and it was more about will they, won't they. And the choice on the table for will they, won't they was, is Cena going to win? Cena won. Didn't find it interesting. I mean, say we see what happens. I feel like we'll see Cena on TV a couple times a month. We're not going to see him defend this bad boy. I don't know. We're lucky if we get a May match. I'm not expecting it. I don't know. I almost don't care. He got to 17. Cool. That's all I got. It didn't even feel like 17 was a big deal. Maybe because it wasn't a big deal when Flair was winning all those world titles and he got past like 9. It just stopped being a big deal. But yeah, 17 doesn't feel like a big deal. Somebody's going to hit 18. I don't know if it'll be a big deal or not. Match was just whatever for me. Match and moment were just meh. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Needed The Rock.
It did need The Rock. It absolutely needed The Rock.
And before that gets, or at least I don't fully explain what I mean when I say it needed The Rock. The Rock and Cody, for whatever reason, I think is the best or biggest match that WWE could do right now. I think it was true last year. They just have a chemistry between each other I think is off the charts. And yeah, there's weird stuff about Not Breaking My Heart and watches and moms becoming friends, yada, yada, yada. I think the two have an unmatched chemistry together. And that is where the tension is. That is where the conflict is between Cody and Rock. To not have Rock out there to play off that was a disservice to everybody. So that's what I mean when I say it needed The Rock. Because when Rock and Cody are together, that's where the conflict is. Conflict creates action, and pro wrestling, it's about action, baby. This was lacking some action for me.
Same. I don't want to say that it's not, but it's just it felt soulless.
Yes. Yeah.
It was wrestling, but it was soulless.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't have any taste, touch, feel, what have you about it at all. I'm curious to see what's next after this.
Yeah. Probably nothing interesting. Like, it would be cool if it's Orton and Orton beats Cena, but I feel like that's not going to happen. I feel like Cena's going to keep this bad boy under wraps till Survivor Series. I don't know. We'll see. Can I ask you who your MVP at night 2 was?
I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to say no, I'm not. I'm going to say it's Rhea, Io, and Bianca. Put it down, Tommy. Yeah, it's the women's triple threat to start the show. It set the tone for night 2. It was, to quote Jacob Bakhtu, it was all gas, no brakes until we got to the main event. And it is crazy that night 1 and night 2 are inverse images of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Night 1 was WrestleMania only at the main event, and night 2 was WrestleMania until the main event.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Accounting for both parts of Mania, your big winner of WrestleMania is
I'm inclined to say Io.
Yeah.
That was a huge triple threat. A ton of star power, ton of young star power, and a ton of favorable star power. And Io's the one that got the win and was featured like she was featured and leaves with the belt. I'm gonna go Io.
I'm gonna go Seth.
Okay.
Just because, unfortunately, the WWE is still a male star driven promotion, and as high as Rhea or Bianca or Io can get, Seth will eclipse them. The only person they even let get close is Becky, and that was kind of on a fluke. But either way, let us know your thoughts on everything we've covered, whether it's on the WrestleMania or anything else we've covered, in the YouTube comments, in the soon-to-be-named network Discord, or in the comments section of the Patreon, patreon.com/Final Wrestling Place. This will also be on the Patreon, available for free for everybody. So if there's another way you want to watch it, it's going to be there. Marcus, I know we have talked a long time. We have burnt the midnight oil. Is there anything you need to plug?
May 3rd, Mr. Pig's going to be down with BCW Wrestling in Norfolk, Virginia, at the Masonic Temple. Go ahead and check that out. Championship action for Mr. Pig. So yeah, May 3rd, Norfolk, Virginia, VCW.
Virginia Championship Wrestling for those that need the full thing. Nothing really to plug for me because I'm a homebody. Did you buy anything this week?
I did purchase pre-orders for the Ultimate Edition Miss Pam and the Survivor Series 93 Elite of Mr. Hitman.
Nice.
My top dream fig.
And I also did a pre-order. I did a pre-order of the Great Muta and Terry Funk from the Target Legends line. that's coming out. So very, very excited for that. Can't wait to see all that come in. Is there anything else we need to discuss before we wrap things up?
Just a quick shout out again to everybody. Thank you for supporting us through 300. Whether you're there for episode 1, joined in somewhere along the way. Thank you to Uncle Joe for featuring us on the network since episode 1, bringing us right in and growing our audience and just getting to know so many people because of that. So thank you for truly life-changing connections in relationships. If you've ever been on the show, thank you. If you've ever reached out to comment about the show, love that. If you have made us part of your day, which is the most meaningful thing to me about doing the show.
Mind-blowing, actually.
it is crazy to think about. So thank you for making us part of your Monday routine or whenever you listen to us. Thank you for fitting us in. If you can help and check out the Patreon, whatever tier, we appreciate it. If you're not in a spot to do that, or if that's not for you, totally get it. And we'd love the support either way. So just in general, thank you everybody for following us so far. And we look forward to hopefully keeping you around moving forward.
And with all of that, we are proud members of the soon-to-be-named network at STBN Network on Twitter. It's your spot for this and all of our wrestling offerings, including but not limited to. Actually, I even got it backwards. It's really late. But check out We Need Wrestling with DJ and Brett, at Odds of Wrestling with Joe and Adam. Everything's available at soon-to-be-named-network.tumblr.com. It's your one place for consolidation of all of the shows on the network. See, that's how you skirt around a bugaboo. I almost went into autopilot and said the OSS, and I didn't. But it is the one place to hear it all. soon-to-be-named-network.tumblr.com. If you need to follow us anywhere, whether it's finding the Patreon, finding us on social media, finding us in podcast form, the link tree down here, linktree/Final Wrestling Place, has it all underneath the big man. Marcus, I love you. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for being a co-pilot through wrestling and not wrestling stuff. Couldn't think of anybody else I'd rather do a podcast with for this long. Thank you for allowing me to drag you through all of the stupid permutations that run through my head. But here's to 301 and beyond. Thank you if you stuck with us this far. Since this is on YouTube, give it a like, give it a share, ring that bell for notifications, because of course the audio version of the podcast will be here as well. But Marcus, first time with a video on YouTube, first time on Patreon. All that's left is to tell the people goodbye.
Bye, y'all.